What up, YouTube? I am Sean Arona, and welcome to Stuck in Love Films, where we are creative 100% of the time. For those of you who are new, I am a professional wedding filmmaker. I do gear reviews on this channel. Sometimes we post short films, definitely post weddings. And today, we are actually going to be talking about my brand new baby, the Panasonic G9. So now that I have the Panasonic G9, I wanted to, take some time to get to know her, like romance her a little, take her to dinner, kind of figure out how compatible we are. So far she's a beaut. So we actually have my friends Ben and Nicole coming later to do like a little photo shoot. Basically, I'm going to get to use Nicole as a model and kind of test out this camera and kind of see, what the images out of this camera look like, what I can do with it, kind of get a feel for it and how I like it, and definitely show you guys a couple of the images so that you know what's coming out of this camera. Okay, so one thing I want to go over are some of the features of the G9 and why it's such a good camera. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about feature-wise is definitely build quality. Now this thing feels like a professional photography camera. It has a really nice deep grip right here. It feels really good in the hands. You can control the aperture from right here. You can control the shutter speed from right here. There is a white balance button, an ISO button, and punch-in button, and of course the record button right here. But also in video mode, you can hit the shutter button and it will start recording automatically. There is a joystick for your autofocus points, which is really, really cool. The G9 comes equipped with a 20.3 megapixel micro four thirds size sensor. Not only does it have a microphone jack right here, but it also has a headphone jack right beneath it. So you can put an onboard mic on it and you can listen to your audio. And of course, it has a full-size HDMI port, so that way if you want to attach a monitor or anything like that, you actually can plug in your HDMI full-size to it. One great thing about flip-out screens is that you can close this and your screen is protected when you're not using the camera. So if you set it down or something, it won't just get scratched up. And the other cool thing is, of course, if you're trying to get an angle like this, you can flip it up, or if you're trying to get a really high angle and look down, you can do that too. If you're a vlogger, you will be able to look at yourself while you're recording. And here is the dial. So there's the manual, there's your video manual, here is your C1 function, your C2 function, and your C3 function. On C3, this is where it gets really interesting. I have set my video settings. Now, the cool thing about that is on the screen, when you're in C3, there's actually like a little icon here that you can press, and you can switch between 3 different settings on C3. So you have a C3.1, you have a C3.2, and a C3.3, and that is one of the things I love, how customizable the functions on this camera are. Like, the ergonomics are incredible, the grip is amazing. I love holding this camera, I love using this camera, it's just really awesome. I have actually set these 2 function buttons and this little dial here to a few things. This one is going to toggle on and off my internal body stabilization. That way I can save battery if I don't need the stabilization, because it actually does suck up a little bit of battery when you're doing that. But when I need that stabilization, all I have to do is flip that switch and it's right there and it's awesome. The function here actually is when I'm using some manual settings. The top one I have set to toggle on and off the zebra stripes, so I can see what's blown out and what's in exposure. And then the bottom one I have chose for focus peak. You can see what the image looks like, and I'm not distracted by the focus peaking. One of the things that's so amazing about this camera is the price. It is only retailing for $1,700. Now, all of those features packed into this camera for basically half of the amount that you will end up paying for a full frame 4K flagship from Nikon or Canon. And this has so many features that those cameras have and a few that they don't. Last thing I want to talk about is the ISO. Now, the ISO can actually, with an expanded setting, can go all the way down to ISO 100, but it can go all the way up to ISO 25,600. That's an impressive range, so I can't wait to test that out at wedding receptions and just see what it can do. The photos that came out of this were absolutely fantastic. I am really impressed with this small sensor, especially because it only has 20 megapixels. Now, only 20 megapixels, that is kind of a funny thing to say. The reason I say that is because so many great cameras came out this past year. We had the Nikon D850, we had the Sony A9, we had the Sony A7R III. All of these cameras had like well above 20 megapixels. And did this thing feel like it wasn't sharp enough? No. And let me tell you something, I'm not missing the extra 4 megapixels that I had with the 6500. The images look sharp, they look clean, and I'm really happy with them. So thank you guys again for joining me. I really appreciate it. I will do a full part 2 review completely based on video. That way you guys can get like a sense for all of the camera features and really kind of see what this thing can do in the film world. If you guys want to stick around this channel, we have a few things coming up. I have another Art Habitat episode about my friend Ben Martin, who has a project called Poos the Puppet. It's a puppet show music performance art piece that he's been working on. It's really cool. You should check it out. And we're also working on a follow-up to the Room video that we did where we recreated the rooftop scene from that famous movie, The Room. And we're trying to see if, you know, we can make it any better by not changing the dialogue, but replacing the actors and stuff. We're going to do the You're Tearing Me Apart Lisa scene. And, you know, I know a lot of you guys liked that other one. So if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link in the description. But we definitely want to do another one, and we'd love for you guys to come check it out. So subscribe if you have not already. Please hit that like button if you really like this video and want to see more stuff like this. Feel free to leave a comment if you're thinking about purchasing the G9 or if you're thinking about other cameras. I might be able to help make a suggestion just based on like what you do and what you like. Or if you have any questions about the G9, I'd love to answer those too. And remember, it's not about the camera, it's about you and your creativity and what you make with it. So keep filming, keep taking pictures, keep being creative, never let that passion die, and I will see you guys in the next video.